I got one about aliens, I think, if anyone's interested. Although, I'll warn you now that it's pretty anticlimactic. Be me, living in a little blink and you'll miss it town in a small country. I work at a PC repair store, but we do more general electronic repair related stuff. I actually have very little knowledge about this shit, but almost everyone in this town is a boomer, and you'd be amazed at how many people come in complaining about their broken PC. And it just turns out it's fucking covered with dust, and after a good cleaning, it works like a charm. If it's not that, you can be sure they downloaded some shifty shit online, and you just run some antivirus software, and problem solved. Anyways, I'm at work like normal, when the local head cop walks in, sheriff equivalent I suppose, and tells me he needs some help with some tech-related stuff on a case he's got. Sweating Pepe.jpg. Like I said, I know very little about this stuff, but once you fixed a boomer's PC or laptop or phone one time, they think you're a fucking savant. Get permission from boss to go help. Go to the police station. Have to sign some shit about how I'm like an IT advisor on the case or some shit. He starts asking me if I saw any weird things in the recently. Weird. Eventually, he slides a smartphone, tells me some local girl went missing and her friend says she got abducted by aliens while they were making blogging videos of some kind, and he needs me to find them so he can watch them. I'm fucking dead inside as I scroll through this phone. We got the password from the friend. Somehow she knew it. And realize I'm literally just here to find the video on her phone and click play. There were a couple different folders with videos, and this boomer cop honestly didn't even know how to find it, and thought he needed some IT genius to hack into the phone or some shit. So, I'm going through different folders, trying to find the most recent video. Whole time, cop is telling me what happened. I honestly think there must be some sort of law against that. Like, he can't just tell me about the case and these people involved. But when you're in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, people don't really care too much about the rules. If the family wants to sue him for that shit, I imagine they'd have to take him to the nearest city, cause we don't even have a proper courthouse. Anyway, I'm half listening as he tells me about how the phones at the police station were going crazy last night, and how people were calling in about lights in the sky, and people prowling around their gardens. I'm just like, yeah, that's crazy. I was drinking and watching anime last night with my headphones on, so I didn't hear any of this shit. Every video is just this girl, sometimes with a friend, talking about some K-pop band they like, or cooking and doing recipes and shit. Other videos are like 3 to 5 minutes long. Eventually, find a video that's like 10 minutes long. 10 minutes exactly. I imagine the phone automatically stops at this point. And skip to the end. And it's just like 2.5 minutes of nothing. The phone's just pointed at the ceiling fan, and then it cuts off. Bingo. Track back to a 3-minute mark. Girl is lying on her bed, talking to her friend. It's a split screen, and her friend is just chilling at her house, I'm guessing. They're talking about some shit. Super forced and awkward. I think they were uploading these to YouTube or TikTok, or some shit in hopes of becoming famous. Missing girl eventually stops laughing, and gets this terrified look in her eyes. I say her eyes, because her face was barely moving. Looked like she had a stroke or something. Really. She's really still, but her eyes are really panicked. She must have had the phone leaning or something, cause it didn't move at all. At this point, the cop has shut up and has moved next to me. So this girl is lying there, looking like she's got a gun to her head. Imagine her phone lying right next to her, by her head, probably propped up on her bedside table, as it records, so we can see over her, and out her doorway a bit, but most of the room is off screen. Her friend starts asking what's wrong. Girl's eyes are darting like crazy now. I think she was trying to say, "I can't move," but it was from out the corner of her mouth, and really mumbled. Really looked like a stroke victim. Video goes on like this for like 30 seconds. Her friend is clearly scared, but obviously doesn't want to freak out in case it's a prank. I would have thought it was a prank, but I noticed one little tear running down her face. This girl is clearly terrified. Eventually, hear floorboards creaking outside the girl's room. Light from hallway gets a bit dimmer as someone walks in front of it. Oh shit, .jpg. I'm about to watch some fucking serial killer walk into this room and take this girl. Feels like CSI Miami. Girl's eyes are fixed on her doorway. They are bulging to the point that they look like they're about to pop out. Figure appears in the doorway. Very tall. Very dark. Quite wide across. Literally needs to turn shoulders to enter through doorway. For some reason, the fact that it looked right the wrong way into the other room first scares me. Like I just gave it this very human element of searching the rooms for someone. Honestly, wasn't even thinking at this point. I was just watching this shit. Like I was completely detached and this wasn't even happening. Like when you're dreaming, but you realize it's a dream. There are 3 of these things, and they enter one after the other. The best way I can describe these things is they look like a mix between an owl and the thing from Spirited Away. No Face is the name, I think. Imagine that thing, but with an owl's head instead of a mask, but also has a little lipless mouth instead of a beak. They get closer, and I realize that those giant black ovals aren't dark feathers, like how an owl tricks you into thinking they are giant eyes. These things clearly have massive fucking eyes. The biggest difference between these and normal aliens is how big they were. The heads and eyes were massive, but not really disproportionate to the bodies. Looked like pig related, but they were wearing clothes like No Face. Black shawl looking things. Made it hard to tell what their bodies looked like, cause it was just a solid black mass, but definitely clothes, and clearly the bodies under them were huge. We just sit there, fucking dead silent as these things walk towards the girl. Her friend has been screaming the whole time. They stand over her, and I notice that she's screaming too, but it's muffled, and coming out of the corner of her mouth. It's like I'm honestly watching someone have a sleep paralysis episode. They reach out. Hands and arms are very stereotypical of grey aliens. Slender and pale, but then juxtaposed with those huge bodies. They almost look like tentacles. 2 of them literally pick her up like she's a sack of potatoes. Like they don't even look into her eyes. They carry her out the doorway. The one in front makes quite a big bow to ensure she doesn't hit her head on the lintel. Weirdly, the camera doesn't move during any of this, but after the 2 are gone with the girl, it suddenly gets knocked over, and you can hear quite a lot of clattering. I guess the 3rd one did it? Cop literally whispers, "There was signs of a struggle." I guess for my benefit, or maybe the story was just making sense in his head. We sit there in silence for the next 3 minutes as the video rolls while pointed at the ceiling fan. Remember how I said it was anticlimactic? Well, that was basically the end. I left the police station like I was a fucking ghost, just wandering around, and never got called back. The girl was never found, and the whole town just seems to have gone. I guess she got abducted or something. I don't know if anyone else saw the video, and I never told anyone but my sister, but the whole town knows the story. But now I imagine about half believe it. I think the video probably still exists, and I've asked the cop about it, but he just says he can't give me case evidence. Suddenly he fucking cares about the rules. I don't think any man in black came and scared him or anything, and I imagine he's shown it to a few people. My one friend told me the story in perfect detail, even though I never told him. That phone is probably sitting in a desk drawer right now, about 5 kilometers away from me, but I'm not about to go break into a police station to prove it to anyone. I think the official story is that she got kidnapped by 3 dudes in masks. Anyways, I still think about the girl sometimes. Her fucking eyes, looking at those things, and the way that they looked at the wrong doorway first. Fucking awful.